All right, we're going to do an oil change on Volvo S90, but this covers all of the 2.0 engines that are just turbocharged, which includes like the V series, the S series, most of the XC series. Now, there are very few that it doesn't cover. I mean, even the T6 all-wheel drive is going to be the same. I mean, they're using the same engine on all of these cars. They're all turbocharged, and some of the higher ends, like the T8s, you know, have a Ram charger also. So, but as far as oil change goes, it's going to be the same configuration underneath to drain the oil and reset the service reminder. There is no dipstick on these engines, so what I'm starting off with is high ramp. I used to put it on the low ramp. I found that doesn't work anymore. It's too low for me. To get to the back part of the nuts and bolts to take the air dam off, I just have to reach and struggle, and it's kind of like a blind fit, and it's just a pain in the butt. So I'm going to high ramps to do an oil change. So you definitely have to lift this vehicle up to do an oil change. No doubt about that. Okay, to get it up on the ramps, it means I ran the engine, got it a little bit warm, it's got it circulating a little bit. Also, Volvo recommends Castrol Edge Professional, and it also recommends the SAE 5W30. I use synthetic 5W30, so I don't use that particular brand. But anyway, just saying what Volvo recommends. And also, it says recommends, not you have to use it. Okay, for a Volvo oil change, I'm going to say 90% is underneath, 5% is on top, where that's divided into fill, and reset the service reminder. Okay, to expose the oil filter and the drain plug, we're going to have to remove the air dam. So here we go. Okay, we're going to need a T30 to remove the screws. And there are a bunch of them. I'll count them when I get the air dam off. All right, there are 10 screws to take out. Fun stuff. And the air dam will not fall off. It has some stays on it. There's one in the front and one in the back. I think there might be some on the side. Let me take it off and I'll show you. Yep, there's one in the front right here. It's going longitudinally. There's one in the back laterally, and that goes right here. So these two clips, and what you do is you squeeze them. The short side, just squeeze the short side towards the long side, because it'll look like this, and it'll pop right off. Also, I see a bunch of debris here and here, so I'll have to inspect, make sure there's no rodents or anything in the vehicle. Seems just kind of weird, because if you look on the other side, it's not there. Alright, I really don't see anything under the car to suggest that there are rodents. It just kind of looks like this is a water path. And as the water and dirt and debris tries to exit the engine compartment, one of the paths it follows is down here and kind of collects there as it heads out of the engine compartment. Alright, I'm under the car looking forward. There's the drain plug, and over here is the oil filter housing. Fun stuff. Here's the oil filter housing, and there is a drain screw right here, but I'm not going to take it off. What I've learned from my father-in-law's Toyota Avalon and from doing this car several times, it really doesn't amount to anything. It's not worth unscrewing that and waiting like hours. It's ridiculous for it to drain, because it really doesn't. So it's best just to take the canister off. So let's start draining. Okay, my tools are going to be 17 millimeter to take out the drain plug. Now I am using an AST V410 removal tool for the oil filter canister. It is 86.5 millimeters wide. Now I'm going to measure the canister when I pull it out, because I already did one of these videos and there was a big controversy over everybody saying which size to use. So that's what I'm using, and I know it works. Oil filter, genuine Volvo 313-72212. Alright, I'm also going to need 5.9 quarts of oil. There's 5. I'll get a 0.9. 5W30. I'm using full synthetic. A pair of gloves. I typically consume 2 rags. One of them to the point where I completely throw it away. It gets all yucky. And the other one I need for just general cleaning. Alright, so I've removed the cap to let me know that I need to refill it after I drain it. And I'll put that aside in a safe place where I can remember where it is and not lose it. Also, you like my paint job? I painted it up. So anyway, fun stuff. I found this quick fill funnel to work the best. It's best for these large containers over here, and there's nothing in the way. It's not on top of a rocker arm or anything, so the oil just whoosh right into the engine when I get ready to fill it. So I'll use this quick fill funnel. New to my 2-liter Volvo engine oil change is going to be this flex draining tool. What I found is removing the cap from the oil filter makes a big mess. Oil goes everywhere, all over the support panels, and it's just a mess. So hopefully I'll be able to fold this and manipulate it to the point where it will not allow oil to splash all over the place when the cap comes off. So I'll just unroll it here, kind of flatten it out, and then I'll see how I can set it in there once I get under the car, and then I'll show you. Alright, for these oil pans, I found that removing the fill holes and the drain hole is best. This allows air to escape out of the drain hole if both fill holes are being occupied by oil dripping down. That way it won't pop and bubble and splash when both of these are covered. So the reason I like to do my own oil changes is for things like this. See that screw in the middle right there? Well, if you come around and look on the back side, you'll see that it's popped out there. And so I like to look around, visually inspect everything, make sure everything's okay. Fix things like this, things that I find. Hopefully it's minor, or hopefully I don't find anything. I really don't want to find anything major. That would really suck. But anyway, that's why I'm down here. Visual inspection, check things out. Now I like to use a ratchet and not like an air tool or something to take out the drain plug. So let's pull the plug. Alright, let's get this out. Alright, now let me grab rag number 1. Now if I was doing someone else's vehicle, I might replace the O-ring, but I actually had to unscrew it off the threads. It doesn't like slide on and off real easily. I actually had to unscrew it. So that was against the head. That was on the bottom. Now typically I don't replace the washer. I never have on any of my cars throughout time. So, but if it was someone else's vehicle, I'd replace the washer. Typically what happens is when I take this cap off, it splashes, no matter how long I drain it, which I don't do anymore, it splashes onto these support brackets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little filter, my flexible draining tool, and I'm going to shield this over here. And I don't know if you can tell, but there's a shiny side and a dull side. So I'm going to use the shiny side out, because I'm thinking that is the side that will allow the oil to run freely. Just saying. Alright, so there's my configuration. What you can't see on the bottom is it's up against the starter. Maybe you can see it a little bit on the left side. Right in center screen now, that's the starter motor. So I just have it kind of wrapped around the filter base so that when I unscrew it, it all just splashes down onto the filter and then into the catch pan. Let's see if it works. Alright, so there's my oil cap removal tool in place, and we'll start twisting it off and see what happens. Oh, but first I'm going to plug the drain line. That way I can dedicate the drain pan to any spillage that comes out. Have a larger catch area. I don't have to deal with trying to maintain 2 drip zones. Alright, drain plug in place. We're going to tighten it down. Just get it nice and snug. Not going to put any He-Man of the universe torque value on it. Just get it good and tight. Alright, let's see if I can catch this now. This is looking at it in such a way that I may be in the way. My arms and hands may be in the way, so we'll see. Really? Fun stuff. Okay, I'm measuring right at 86 across the center, flat to flat, across the center, right at 86. What was my cap? It was a little bit loose, which is good, I guess. 86 3/4. So it's a pretty tight fit. So, I mean, it worked. It took it off. Again, that's AST V410. Okay, I forgot to list a pick in my tools, but I like to use a 90. See how easy it came off. Alright, the filter comes with 2 O-rings. This O-ring goes to the bottom of the cap, but since I didn't remove it and it wasn't leaking, I am not going to replace it. So I'll just open the bag and replace the main cap seal ring. Okay, I'm going to say there's plenty of oil on my hands and on the cap still. Probably see how shiny it is. And I'm not going to redo the ring. And there's only one groove for it to go in. If you notice, there's little, getting camera here, there's a tab right there. So that's too low. And then the threads start above here, so that's too high. So there's a very specific groove for the O-ring to fit into. Alright, the next is the oil filter. Has 2 ends, one real small, one real large. There's an O-ring on both ends. There's an external O-ring. There's like an internal O-ring. And if you look down here, I don't know if you can see it, but it's very large. You cannot put the small end in there Well, maybe if I break off those tabs it'll fit. So anyway, it's one way, can't screw up, idiot proof, so they say. So the large end goes in. Voila, we're ready to insert. All right, next I'm going to remove my spill guard, flexible funnel, as it were. Remove that and the oil drip pan out of the way. Well, I didn't say it, but I'll reach up in there and clean it up, make sure nothing's dripping out of there between the time I get ready and the time I actually insert the oil filter back. Let me do that. Guess I'll drop this down. Clean it up. And where I see oil. Alright, let's get the oil filter back in there, and I'll start it by hand. So I hit the O-ring. Then I will put my tool together here. And finish it off. Get it snug. Then I'll do a visual inspection to make sure that it's completely flush up against there. Alright, there's my visual inspection to make sure it's flush up against there. O-ring's fully engaged. Drain plug is in. I'll do a second visual check there. Yep, drain plug is in. Alright, we're almost done at the bottom. Not quite. Alright, I am going to clean up the dirty areas. That way next time I change the oil, I'll inspect it again to see if I have debris there. See if it's all done. And if not, then I'll try and hunt it down and see what the deal is. I think it's just normal debris right now. But anyway, we'll see next year. Alright, I'm going to clip my air dam in place. I have two, one in the front and one in the back here. I'll clip that in place and hang it, and then I'll put my 10 screws back in. Alright, after putting in the first and second screw, I have a setting of 1, believe it or not, in order to put these in place. They go into a rubber grommet, if you will, and so all I need is a 1 to get it in place all nice and snug. Okay, I like to clean up before I do my fill and reset. So I'll take everything, make sure I have all my tools, make sure nothing's left under the car, because I certainly didn't work over the car. Alright, that filter funnel, what do they call it? Flexible draining tool. Alright, this thing is outstanding. This was my first use. I love it. Absolutely love it. Clean it up, put it away. Alright, so they come in 2 sizes. This is a smaller size. I pretty much figured for my application I'd need the smaller size. The other one is wider. So I really didn't think I needed wider, and actually the way I used it was this way, not this way. So wider, I guess would have gave me more length down, but don't really need it. I mean, the car is just not that high up off the ground. I don't have it on my lift. I have some quick jacks, but I don't have it on the lift, which is only a couple inches higher than what it is now. So anyway, I highly recommend this guy. Alright, let me get all my tools put away here. Okay, so grab my pick again, and I use that to take the seal off. Okay, the car's still on the ramp, so this is a bit of a reach for me, but let me show you a no-spill technique. Notice how the handle is on the bottom, not the top. So basically I'm pouring it the opposite way. And I don't want it to gurgle, I want a nice laminar flow. Very easy, no problems. If I can get it to stay there. Alright, now I still need to add some more because it was, what, 5.9, just below 6. So what I like to do is take a new bottle and pour a quart into this bottle and then dump it in. Alright, so hopefully you can see it at or just below a quart. Here, let me move the bottle. Oh, I need to add more. Oh, I need to add less. No, it's just under a quart. You know, it's 0.9, so, you know, whatever. Again, with my super secret technique that doesn't spill. I'm glubbing a little bit. Glub, glub, glub. Oh well. Yeah, we'll just let that drain. If I can balance it. There we go. Now, while that's doing that, let's reset the clock on this thing. Alright, because we have to start the engine to reset the maintenance reminder, I am going to close everything up here. The cap only goes on one way. Alright, let's see if I can get this hood closed. It's awfully high. Oh, I can stand on the low ramp. Alright, there are two latches, so get it ready. Push it down, make sure both latches have caught. Don't want to have an error message when I go in there. Okay, to reset the service reminder, we really don't need the center console, but I did want to show you what it's going to look like through the process. Now the vehicle is off and it says 0 days to service and 0 miles. So the car is off. What we're going to need to reset the service reminder is the key and the start button. And we're also going to need to watch the instrument cluster. It timed out because the car is off. And we're going to need the decelerate button on the cruise control. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate the vehicle. I'm going to turn it on. And what I mean by activate the vehicle and turn it on is I'm going to keep my foot off the brake pedal. I'm going to come to the start button. And I'm going to activate the vehicle. So I'm going to start the vehicle. That means I put my foot on the brake, turn the start button. I'm going to have the camera on the instrument cluster, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the cruise control button, the cruise control decelerate button pressed. Then I start the vehicle. And now the car status is set to 360 days or 9,941 miles.